everyone. I'm Mandy McNamara, and for my show and tell speech today, I have this little guy with me today. His name is Snoopy, and he is about 76 years old, and he comes from Germany. Brief history behind him. The day my mother was born, February 14th, 1942, my grandmother's brother, her uncle, mailed him from Germany when he was stationed overseas during World War II. So he traveled a long distance to get to my mom. His appearance, as you can see, is an original Snoopy doll. I don't know how familiar you are with them, but Snoopy dolls now have black ears and I believe red jumpsuits. I'm not completely sure of the switch and what they look like now. I haven't really seen a lot of Snoopy dolls besides my favorite here. But he has a denim blue jumpsuit and blue velvet ears, and he's missing a little bit of his mouth and he's a little tattered, but all in all, I think for 76 years old, he looks pretty darn good. So my emotional attachment to Snoopy is I would stay at my grandmother's a lot when I was a kid. My mom worked nights, so my grandmother babysat my brother and my sister and I always slept with Snoopy. She kept him on a chair by her bed, and I would always sneak him into bed with me, and I think it just made me feel comfortable and safer and more at home. Even though I loved being at my grandma's, nighttime could be a little scary for a kid. So after a while, when my grandmother got sick, I ended up staying with her. So I found Snoopy again. And I think it brought some comfort to me being an adult, just having him with me. After my grandmother died, I acquired Snoopy. I'm not sure why my mom didn't have him. I don't know if my grandmother kept him as part of my great uncle. That's a possibility, but my grandmother always had him. So after she had passed, he was the first thing that I took, and I made sure I got him. I try and keep him as intact as can be. I keep him in a plastic bag in my closet. I try and keep him free of moths and anything else that can potentially harm him. I hope to have him for a very long time. I can't imagine being without him. I don't have him with me, obviously, at all times, but he's in my closet and I know he's there, and that makes me feel safe. I have since moved a few times, different houses, and I've always brought him and never forget him. He's actually the first thing I think about when I'm packing. I'm like, I gotta grab my Snoopy doll. So I'm hoping to have one of my kids take possession of him at some point, so I know he's kept safe. They know how much he means to me, and it's not necessarily the Snoopy doll, it's what he symbolizes. He meant a lot to my mom and to my grandmother, and to me, it's just comfort and kind of like having my grandmother with me, and my mom has also since passed away, so it kind of makes me happy. I'll pull him out sometimes if I'm feeling sad or depressed, and he makes me feel good. So I do love him, and he's like one of my family, as silly as it sounds. So that is my show and tell speech, and I look forward to listening to all of yours and finding out what's important and emotional value to you. Have a great evening. Thank you.